Alrighty, greetings and welcome back to another fragrance video, and this is in fact the last fragrance video I will be making in the year 2022. So what better way to end the year than to have an overview of my fragrance collection, so how many fragrances I have and if it will change in the next fragrance collection in 2023. Now before we start, I just have to apologize for the echo as I am in the process of moving. I mean, I already moved to a new place, but my quote-unquote studio is not yet ready, so there is a lot of echo, but I hope I will fix that in the future. Probably not in the near future, but in the future nonetheless. So how did I imagine this video? We will be going through my designer collection first, and then I will show you my niche fragrances. Now, how I ordered these fragrances is kind of chronologically, like this is the first fragrance I ever bought, and then going like this way to the last fragrance I bought, at least in 2022. I will just give a short description. I already made a review of some of these fragrances. Of course, for every fragrance I did a review already. I will put a link in the description of this video. Now, after we do the designer fragrances, I will of course show you my, well, a little bit smaller, but still my niche collection. And of course, let's start with the first fragrance I ever actually bought in my life. This is not the particular bottle, but this brand, this fragrance, it is the Brut fragrance. So I wore this all throughout high school. This was definitely my signature scent, and I honestly thought this was the best smell ever when I was a teenager. How does it smell? Well, it basically smells powdery. It smells like baby powder, but it's a nice kind of old-fashioned smell. Of course, today I don't think this is the best fragrance ever. In fact, I don't really like this fragrance as much as I used to, but still I want to have this bottle in my collection because it is just something that I really like. It reminds me of my teenage years. The next fragrance is the one I actually got for my 18th birthday, and I still actually have some juice left in this bottle. It is CK1 Shock. Now this is, in my opinion, the best entry-level Oriental fragrance you can buy. So this is an Oriental fragrance that you can buy for like $20. You can buy a 200 ml bottle for just $20. It's a beautiful gourmandy Oriental type of smell, perfect for the winter months. Then we have Dior Sauvage, of course. This is the Eau de Toilette concentration, the fragrance I got the most compliments for wearing. As you can see, the bottle is like half empty because I used to wear this a lot before. You know everything about Dior Sauvage. It is a compliment monster. People really like it. This is, I think, one of the best fragrances you can buy if you want a safe, no-nonsense fragrance that more or less anybody will give you a compliment on. Then we have Acqua di Gio Profumo. When I bought Dior Sauvage, it was between Dior Sauvage and Acqua di Gio Profumo. I bought Sauvage first because I really liked the dry down, but then I also bought Acqua di Gio Profumo shortly after that because I also love the smell of this fragrance. How does it smell? Well, just imagine the original Acqua di Gio, except it also has a bit of incense and patchouli added to it. This is the mature version of Acqua di Gio, a beautiful, beautiful all-around fragrance, excellent for the office in my opinion. Then after I bought Acqua di Gio Profumo, I wanted something a bit more specialized, a bit more made specifically for the colder months of the year, and then I bought CH Men Privé because this was a very, very hyped fragrance at that moment. Like Jeremy Fragrance used to put it in like every single one of his top 10 videos, and I can see why. It's a beautiful cold weather fragrance with some leather, with some whiskey notes in it. This is a fragrance that you should wear when you have a leather jacket on. I think it goes very well, and I like the design of the bottle. It's a flask design because it's supposed to be like a whiskey-based fragrance. And after I bought CH Men Privé, I wanted something even more specific just for the winter months. And like I said, I used to be influenced a lot by Jeremy Fragrance at that point, unfortunately. Well, I mean, not unfortunately necessarily, but I wish I could have explored a bit more on my own. But he always recommended Spice Bomb Extreme, so I bought Spice Bomb Extreme, which again is a very good buy. This is, in fact, in my opinion at least, the best designer winter fragrance for a man. Vanilla, spices, just beautiful. It's a beautiful winter smell. It truly is a spice bomb. I recommend this over the original version. I think this is the best flanker in the Spice Bomb lineup. There are a lot of flankers at this point, but I still think this is the best, the #1 winter fragrance for a man, at least designer-wise. Then, of course, everybody has to have an Armaf in their collection. This is the Club de Nuit Intense Man, the Eau de Toilette version. Why did I buy the Eau de Toilette version? Well, basically, when I bought this fragrance, the Eau de Parfum, the Parfum or the limited edition were not even available, so I got the Eau de Toilette version, but still, It is a very good cologne of a very famous niche fragrance. Which niche fragrance? Well, I will show you that later in my collection. A lot of people ask me what would be a good first fragrance to buy. I always say, well, at least for a man, I would say buy this. You cannot go wrong. I mean, buy the Eau de Parfum version. I think it's a bit better than the Eau de Toilette at this point, but I don't think you would make a mistake even if you buy the Eau de Toilette version. And then after that, I just wanted a bit of history in my collection, a bit of fragrance history. So I think if you're really into fragrances, if you really like them, if you want to know more about the history, where it all began, you have to buy 4711 Eau de Cologne. So this is one of the original fragrances for men. I almost don't have any more because I use this as an aftershave. So after I shave, I would put this on my face. I gotta buy a new bottle. This is a beautiful, very refreshing smell. If you're curious how this smells, basically Tom Ford's Neroli Portofino smells exactly like this. So, well, not exactly, but very close to this one. So Neroli Portofino was definitely inspired by this. So yes, you should buy this. You should have this in your collection if you consider yourself a true fragrance enthusiast. And then after I bought the 4711 Eau de Cologne, I wanted to buy a more summery, aquatic type of smell. I mean, Acqua di Gio is also kind of aquatic, but because of the incense and patchouli, it's a bit more dark. I wanted something really like aquatic, so of course I bought Invictus Aqua. This is the 50 ml bottle. I wasn't necessarily planning on buying this. This was more of an impulse buy because I was like walking to town center and I went to into a fragrance shop and I saw this fragrance at a very good discount. So I was like, well, why not? I could use a summer smell. And I bought it. It smells as the name says. It is aqua, it is water. It's a very watery, summery type of smell. Of course, I will make a review of this fragrance sometime in the future to talk about it a bit more in detail. And then after that, I wanted to have a Versace fragrance in my collection just for the purpose of having a Versace branded fragrance in my collection. So I bought the cheapest one I can buy, and it was, of course, Versace Blue Jeans. This is a very cool, very retro kind of smell. It reminds me of something from my childhood. However, I still to this day cannot figure out what or who this reminds me of, but I really like the smell. So I'm happy about this. I paid like 20 bucks for it. And I think a 75 ml bottle for 20 bucks is a pretty good offer indeed. So I would recommend you try Versace Blue Jeans. I think it's a pretty good buy, at least price value wise. Then the next fragrance, the one next to the Blue Jeans fragrance, is the fragrance Paco by Paco Rabanne. I didn't really buy this one, I just got it as a gift. This is one of those fragrances you can find in more or less any airport for a cheap price, so I got it as a gift. It's not a bad fragrance, again, a more 90s old school type of smell. It smells like, to me it smells a little bit like pine, maybe? Like a fresh pine forest, something like that, but it's a good fragrance. I usually take this fragrance with me when I go traveling because again, it's fairly cheap, it's fairly likable, so why not? Even if I lose this bottle, it's not gonna be the end of the world. After that one, I bought the fragrance Explorer from the house Montblanc because of course, everybody was hyping up this fragrance, talking about it being an Aventus clone, blah, blah, blah. So I bought this one again. I actually bought this also to compare to my Club de Nuit Intense Man and the other niche fragrance in my collection. And overall, my conclusion was this is not, I repeat, this is not an Aventus clone. I have no idea how people can claim this is a clone if they have the original Aventus in their collection. If you put Aventus on one hand and this one on the other, there is literally nothing that smells the same. It smells slightly similar in the opening because of the bergamot, and that's literally it. So yes, this is its own smell. It's a good smell. I recommend you to buy this, but it is not an Aventus clone. I'm sorry. And then I had to buy another Amaf fragrance, and there will be even more Amaf fragrances in the future in my collection because I think they are very good. This is the Très Nuit Pour Homme fragrance. Essentially, this is a clone of Creed Green Irish Tweed, and it's a very good clone, and I actually got a bunch of compliments on this fragrance. My co-workers really like it when I put this fragrance on when I go to work, obviously. So yes, this is definitely a compliment getter. I can only imagine how much the Green Irish Tweed fragrance would garner compliments because it's even more quality than this one. And the last fragrance, at least designer fragrance I have to show you, is the Prada L'Homme fragrance. This is my favorite designer fragrance, at least up to this point. It's a beautiful, fresh, clean, iris-based fragrance. It is amazing. If you're a man, if you work at the office, you have to have this in your collection and you have to wear this I think it's just gorgeous. There are also flankers like the Prada L'Homme Intense version, but I still think this is the best designer men's fragrance on the market right now. And those are all my designer fragrances. So now let's see how my niche collection and what fragrances do I have there. And now let's take a look at the niche collection. So the first fragrance that was ever in my collection that can be categorized as niche is of course Aventus by the House of Creed. Why did I buy this? Well, of course, because it was so hyped up. This was called the best men's fragrance ever. Is it? Of course not. In my opinion, there are far better fragrances in the House of Creed than Creed Aventus, and it is of course the next fragrance in my collection. It is a Royal Oud. So this is, in my opinion, the best men's fragrance Creed has to offer right now. How does it smell? Well, I can tell you one thing, there is no oud in this fragrance, at least nothing that my nose can pick up. This is more of a royal cedar type of fragrance. I mean, I made a review of the Aventus fragrance and the Royal Oud fragrance anyway, so links are in the description of this video. The next niche fragrance is from the House of Montol, and it is the Intense Cafe fragrance. I actually like this one. This is a unisex fragrance. It leans a bit more feminine in all honesty because of the heavy presence of rose, but I think it works pretty well on my skin as well. This is definitely a projection beast. Like, you put 2 sprays of this, it will last you for over 24 hours. It will project like a beast. So be very careful when you apply this, but it is a good winter fragrance. I think both men and women can wear this no problem. Next fragrance is from the House of Roja Parfums and is the Scandal fragrance. So I wanted a Roja Parfum fragrance for quite a while. It was between this one and Enigma, but because I bought another niche fragrance later on, which is behind here, I chose Scandal instead. So this is a modern interpretation of a classic fougere fragrance. Again, I also made a review of this fragrance. Link is in the description if you're interested, but it is a very, very pleasant smell. I like to wear this fragrance, especially in the springtime. I think it works very well in the springtime. So this is the reason why I didn't buy Enigma at the end. It is because I bought Grand Soir from the House of Francis Kurkdjian. What fragrance is this? This is one of the best winter niche fragrances for men, in my opinion. I mean, of course, women can wear this as well, but I think this works more. Well, this works better on a man. It smells like vanilla. It smells like benzoin. Beautiful, sweet winter fragrance. This is, I think, my overall favorite fragrance in my collection right now. I love it, especially now that it's winter. I just love wearing this fragrance. And my 2 most recent additions are Mancera Jardin Exclusif. Again, I will talk a bit more about this fragrance in my review. However, what I can say for now is that the longevity and projection are absolutely fantastic. And the next is from the brand Kilian, and it is a freshie. It's vodka on the rocks. I am amazed how they captured the smell of vodka in a bottle. Of course, I know vodka doesn't have a specific smell, but the way they blended their ingredients to make this fragrance, it is amazing. I really like it. It is great. Kilian is one of my favorite niche fragrance houses overall. I mean, I hope to get a couple of more of their fragrances in my collection sometime in the future. Now, there is a special mention here. It is this little fragrance right here. So this fragrance is called Belgrade Night 5. This is made by the only remaining perfumier in Serbia. So this is technically a niche fragrance. However, I did not include this here because there's only literally one place you can buy this if you come to his fragrance store in Belgrade. So if you are ever in Serbia in Belgrade, check out Sava Perfumery. I think you can easily find it on Google and try his fragrances. They're pretty good. So I bought this one. It's called Belgrade Night 5, a beautiful men's fragrance, and it's very cheap. I think I paid like 20 bucks for this. Maybe even less. I can't really remember. It's been a while. Of course, we also have some fragrance samples here, like we have Silver Mountain Water by Creed. We also have another fragrance from Kilian. It is the Kilian Intoxicated sample, another beautiful winter smell. Amouage Interlude Man, another one which I really hope to get a full bottle of because it is just so good. Then we have Bal d'Afrique by Byredo, beautiful spring and summer fragrance. And we have this one by Wilhelm Parfumerie. It is called Smoke Show, and I think it's a pretty good oud vetiver based fragrance. I didn't really like it at first, but as I wore it more and more, I am slowly starting to appreciate the smell. And we have a couple of Maison Francis Kurkdjian examples as well. We have Masculine Pluriel, which is a nice little fragrance. We also have Amiris Homme, again, a very nice freshie. A bit more of a designery fragrance in my opinion, even though it's niche, but it smells a bit more designer. And we have Oud Satin Mood. I like this one as well. I hope to get this fragrance in my collection. The smell of this fragrance reminds me of a shampoo my mother used to use when I was a little baby. So I think that's funny. Also, I have 3 additional things in my collection. I have this like Kilian, Parfum Pro, and Parfum, whatever it's called. These 3 are basically just something that a con artist from Serbia sells, and I like to buy these things and review them to just point out to the people that they are mostly scams and you should not waste your money on them, but that's just something for my Serbian audience to understand. And that's pretty much it. That is my fragrance collection for 2022. Will it change next year? I hope so. I hope to get a lot more fragrances. Will that happen? Doubt it, because finances are a bit tight right now with the moving and everything, but who knows. So anyway, as always, if you like this video, of course, leave a thumbs up. If you dislike the video, maybe leave a thumbs down and give me some suggestion of how I can improve my content. Subscribe if you want to see more wristwatch or fragrance related videos. And until next time, guys, have a great day and bye.